Well, let's pull her up, have a look. I'm not overly confident, but you never know, eh? No eels in there. Never mind. Next time, eh? Well, good morning. We need to crank the fire up for breakfast, so I thought I'd have a go at this friction fire by bow drill. It's a little bit windy, so we might have to try again later on, but we can give it a crack anyway, and I can at least show you the components. So, speaking of components, there's a few components of a bow drill. Let's start with nothing in particular. The fireboard, okay? It doesn't need to be this big, this is just a piece I've split out of a log. It needs to be dry though. And, I don't know, maybe an inch thick, half an inch thick, doesn't need to be that thick. I've kind of bored a little hole with my tip of my knife in there, just to start a hole. And what we're going to do is we're going to get the end of the spindle to fit in there, which I've already done a little bit, but we're going to do a bit more. Oh, the wind's getting up. Just to get a good tight fit in there, so there's maximum friction contact between the spindle and the fireboard, because that's where we're going to generate an ember, hopefully. This is your spindle. It's probably an inch thick, probably doesn't need to be that thick, maybe 20 mil would do. A broom handle would be perfect. In fact, when I was learning, that's what I did, chop the end off a broom handle. Ideal for learning with. Point one end to a pencil thickness like that. Okay, that's going to go up into your bearing block, and the other end needs to be a bit blunter. Okay, so that's probably a good 8 inches long. Could probably be slightly shorter than that. This is your bearing block. This is a little bit of green wood that I've cut just to fit in the palm of my hand like that, and I've bored a little hole with my knife, tip of my knife in the middle, and this pointy bit of the spindle is going to sit in there. Okay, now you want to reduce or minimize the amount of friction at this end, so hence the pointy bit. It's ideal if you can put a little bit of lubricant in that hole, so animal fat, possum fat, deer fat, whatever, dead snail or slug, something that might just help reduce the friction a little bit. In my case, I'm going to use a little bit of fat out of the fry pan. Right, the bow itself, just any old bit of wood would do. I've found a bit of mingy that's got a slight curve in it. Doesn't have to be anything too flash, but we're reasonably sturdy, because once you start working the drill, you don't want it bending all over the place. I've fitted a little bit of paracord on here. It doesn't want to be tight, you'll see why. It wants to be reasonably loose. I've just made a little notch on each end of the bow, and I've put a slip knot on each end, okay? Now I've got a little bit of bark for an ashtray. That's where we're hopefully going to collect our ember. So, oh yes, tinder bundle, pays to have your wood all organised, of course. I've just got a little bundle of toy seed head and dead leaf. Hopefully if we do get an ember, we're going to try and transfer it from our little ashtray here into here and ignite it. That's the plan, and some little sticks to go on top of that, okay? Pays to get all that organised before you even start, otherwise it just won't work. So I'm going to lube up this, get a bit of fat out of my fry pan. What we're going to do for a start is just going to, I'll show you first off how to load the spindle. So what I do, ideally, is when we want the spindle loaded, we want it to be able to run along the outside of the string, okay? Not the inside, because then you start to hit the wood of the bow and you don't get a full stroke. So I put the pointy end through the hole from my side, and then I twist it back towards me. Like that. Be careful it doesn't flick around and get you in the nose. Okay, that'll tighten up your string, and that'll just hold it there with one hand. You get your body position sorted. You need this on a fairly level surface. Get your knee in there, hold it nice and steady. Now, this is where you got to be, everything's got to go right. So I'm just going to, just nice and steady, warm this up a bit. Not trying to make fire at the moment, we're just getting the shape of our hole right. Okay, that's alright. You can see we generate a little bit of powder and a little bit of smoke. That's encouraging. That means it's breaking down nicely. It's not hopefully going to be dry enough. So what I'm going to do now is use my Leatherman and I'm going to cut a notch out of here. Okay, so that's for the powder that we generate to fall through into our ashtray. So I'm going to do that. I'll show you when I've done that. Okay, I've got my little notch done. You can see there, a little notch just going into the edge of the hole. So when I generate the powder, it can fall down that hole onto my ashtray. All going well, and we'll create an ember. So now I'm going to position the ashtray just under that hole, hold it in place with my knee. Right, we'll get it set up. Let's have a crack at this. Start off nice and slow. As the wood heats up, you'll hear a noise change probably. And it'll take a wee while. This happens sometimes. What I have done in the past, I might have to do, is put a little groove in the middle of the spindle to stop the string sliding up and down. Okay, what I've done is just made the notch a bit bigger in the middle here, so hopefully my string moves around a bit easier. Oh, not quite. Just a bit much wind coming in there and affecting the ember, I think. What we'll do is we'll give it a break, hope this wind dies off later. I'll start another hole and we'll have another go. Sometimes it takes a few attempts, it's not an easy process. But that's how it's done, in theory. We'll get there, we'll have another crack a bit later on. Well, I think we'll go head off for a short bow hunt this morning for a couple of hours just to pass the time of day. Beautiful day actually, a little bit breezy but not too worried necessarily about shooting anything. I'm just going to I want to get up the hill behind camp and go downstream a bit. There's quite a gorge down there, and I think we'll go down there. I just want to see if the river's passable, see if I can look down into it, see how many pools there are. It looks quite bluffy, and I'm not even sure if it's negotiable. So there was a little bit more sign down that way too when I was down there fishing, so there might be the odd goat around. If I see a goat, I'll have a crack just to do my bit for conservation, but anything else is a bit pointless. I'm heading out tomorrow. Don't really want to be lugging a big load of meat up that hill as well. We'll see. Anyway, it'd be good. We're going to cruise for a couple of hours and just enjoy the day. From camp. I'm just working back up into the wind, actually upstream of camp, because that's the way the wind decided to settle in. So it's been beautiful up here in the bush today. Really nice to walk around. A little bit of deer sign, a little bit of old big bird. That's it. I don't see any animals, no fresh marks. It's pretty quiet. No possums on at all, which I'm not surprised because it's a Kiwi recovery zone. I think Doc does quite a lot of dirty poison work in here. So anyway, I'm going to head along back into the wind a bit more and start cycling back towards the river, which is somewhere out that way. I don't know, I'm just going on where the sun is at the moment, so I hope it doesn't get too cloudy because it'll be stuffed up. No compass, no GPS. Anyway, it's quite nice just mooching around. I managed to get a look off the bluffs down further when I first got up, and there's some beautiful big trout holes downstream, but it could be really hard trying to get near them. It's a lot of bluffs and really gorgy. I'm not even sure if it's possible. I'd love to get down there and have a crack, but we'll see what happens this afternoon. Might have to do some more exploring. Otherwise it might be a mission for another day. Actually bring a tire tube or something back just to float down and try and access some of those pools. I bet there's some amazing trout down there. Anyway, I'm going to carry on mooching around here and see what happens.
See this track behind me here? It's an old horse track. I've been following it for a while. It comes around the side of the hill, and I know it's been benched into the hill. And there's cut marks, very, very old cut marks where people have cut branches off. And I suspect that's how that old camp got down there. People have brought horses in here through the bush. This could even be a very, very old Maori trail into the river. It's obviously been well used over possibly decades, I don't know, a lot longer than that. And it's leading directly down to that camp, so I'm going to carry on, follow it, see where it goes. Home sweet home. Yeah, well, that definitely explains how that old camp got there. It's definitely an old horse track, real old. Nothing's used it for, I don't know, decades, as I say. That explains how they got all that stuff in there, that old camp. Interesting. Oh, it's been a good walk. It's 2 and a bit hours, 2 and a quarter hours, I suppose. Windy old day out there today, but might have a bit of a cup of tea, I think. Go for a fish down the river this afternoon, kill a couple of hours. Just cruising, do a bit of a pack up tonight, ready to head off in the morning. Quite relaxed really, not sure if I really want to go. Quite enjoying myself. Might become an old bush hermit out here. See you in 20 years. We'll have another crack at this. We'll just get a bit of a burn-in going first, this other hole. Trying to get the shape of that hole good. Right, now I'll cut my notch in. Righto, here we go. We'll have another go, eh? Still quite windy, but we'll just persevere. A little wee ember there. Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
Damn, went out. But we got a good ember in there, just couldn't quite ignite my tinder.
Nothing there today, eh? Well, it's probably there, but it's not playing the game. Righto, this is the pool I've been saving. Bottom end of the Hinaki pool. There's fish here somewhere, whether we can get them to bite or not. I doubt whether anyone fished it for a while. No evidence of anyone being here. Quite deep, well, look at that. Could be right on the bottom. At least that wind's died off. Bugger. There's a bloody snag there, I can't see. Must be a fish somewhere, surely. Well, if I was a fish, those two currents come together about where that TROUT overhangs. I'd be sitting under there somewhere, or I'd be up in this slightly quicker water at the top, maybe. Then I'm not a fish. Oh damn, broke me fly off down there somewhere. Lucky I've got another one. Not even a follow. Right, couple more, two more casts, two more good casts. Oh, that's a ripper. Oh, except I'll probably hook the fucking log or something in that eddy. Not such a good cast. Bugger. Oh dear me. Oh dear me. Well, got me weight minus the fly, so must be a signal to move on, I think. Might head up to the camp pool and have a quick go. Well, it's one of those afternoons. I haven't seen a single fish for the last 2.5 hours of fishing, so typical, isn't it? You know, saved one of the best pools for the last day, thinking, oh, bound to get one there for a bit of fun. Didn't even see one. They just not, I don't think they're on the feed or biting or anything like that. Usually I get a few follows, but I haven't seen anything follow at all. And I know there's fish in these pools, I've seen them. Anyway, not to worry. Still been a relaxing way of passing the afternoon. Heading back to camp now to pull down the tarp, pull down the framework, get camp packed up best I can. Then I'll just tie the tarp up for the night and make a rough lean-to shelter so I can get away first thing in the morning. Well, we're all packed, camp spotless. Going to be another hot,
cracker summer day, have a look at that. So time to cut a track and get out of here. A couple of hours, oh, maybe an hour and a half walk, we'll just see how it goes. Hopefully find our bike again. So let's get into it, eh? Well, there she is. Found the horse. Hey, old girl, you hungry? Whew. Well, that's the end of another awesome trip, hey? 10 days in the bush with no food. It went a lot better than I thought it would. I mean, I actually feel wonderful. I don't actually feel like I've been on a survival challenge at all, or I've been on a holiday. You know, having that fish supply just makes a world of difference to your diet, hey? You know, wow, it was awesome, wasn't it? Great fishing, got that nanny goat, that fat goat, that's what made the difference, that fat in the goat. Basically deep fried my eel and my trout for the last week or so. So it's been fantastic. I've been spoilt with the weather. Had a little bit of rain, but it wasn't anywhere near as bad as I thought it could have been. I could potentially have been stuck on the other side of the river there. If it flooded, it could get really nasty. Anyway, I'm back. I've enjoyed myself, learned a few things. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and I hope you've maybe learnt something as well. Almost in a way, it wasn't that great a challenge to me. You know, I think anyone with a bit of good basic fishing knowledge could have survived 10 days in here realistically. I mean, so I think let's ramp it up a bit. I've been thinking about it the last few days. You know, why don't we push it out to 14 days, 2 weeks solid in the New Zealand bush, no food, same deal with the gear, beggar all. You know, and what I'll do is I'll pick a spot that I've not been to before that's going to be hard. Now that is really going to be the physical and the mental challenge on the old body, isn't it? You know, I don't know if I can do it or not, you know, but I'm going to have a crack at it. In fact, just talking about it's making me nervous as I speak. So anyway, I'm going to go home now and try and fatten up a bit. And I'll look forward to talking soon. Watch this space. Thanks for watching. Oh, by the way, before I forget, don't be a stranger, eh? Subscribe and drop me a comment. I'm always keen to learn your feedback and, you know, pick up new ideas too. So that'd be awesome. Okay, catch you, eh?